Hello, good morning. This is election 2023, the force in your community. I'm Ben Shatliff, and I'll be with you throughout the day, giving updates as these local election results start to come in across Greater Manchester, where they've already been counted overnight, and of course, waiting for those all important results to come in across the metropolitan borough here in Bury. Now, those that were watching last night will know what my prediction is, but I'll go through it again in just a few moments. But before that, let's just have a little roundup of what's been going on overnight, because counts were taking place overnight, and a lot of them are still going to be going on today. The Conservatives have lost quite a few seats overnight. There is no shadow of a doubt whatsoever. But the Prime Minister, Rishi Sunak, has said it is still early days and that there are still more results to come in, but he's not completely ruling out the fact that it's been a bad night for the Conservatives. Now, here in Greater Manchester, as I say, there have been all-out elections which have been taking place in some of the councils, not all of them, and in some of those councils, those results have now taken place. A very interesting perspective is what has happened in Bolton. I'm going to go onto the other screen just to give you some analysis in relation to that, because in Bolton, the Conservatives were the largest group, but now Labour are the largest group, and the number of seats that Labour have in Bolton is not much different to what it was in terms of what the Conservatives had. I believe Labour now have 26, which is what the Conservatives had before the elections yesterday. And the number of seats that the Conservatives have as an opposition, or one of the larger parties, is down slightly on where Labour were. So it's kind of reversed itself as far as Bolton is concerned. But a Bolton First Independent Party, Bolton Horwich First, have gained 3 seats in Horwich. So that is another group of independents taking seats in a local authority. I said last night, the force in the community, which I'm saying is the independents, because let's just have a look now at that prediction that I predicted last night once again. And of course, as I said, there's other results. Maidenhead, which is a Conservative stronghold, that has also gone for the Conservatives. Medway, Labour have managed to gain in Medway as well. So there's many all across the country. I can't go through absolutely every single one, but just singling out certain ones, and throughout the day we'll go through much more. So let's just have a look and see how things are in Bury as it stands at the moment before any results are announced. So as it stands at the moment, Ramsbottom have 3 Labour candidates. North Manor have 3 Conservatives. North Manor is one of the Conservative stronghold council seats. It's within the top 10 strong Conservative seats throughout the United Kingdom. Okay, Tottington has an independent councillor, Yvonne Wright, and it has 2 Conservative councillors. Elton has 2 Labour and 1 Conservative. Ramsbottom did have an independent as well that was Labour, and then went to independent, but to sort of address they're not standing. So I'm still classing that as 3 Labour under the normal scenario. Moorside have 3 Labour councillors. Bury East have 3 Labour councillors. Red Bales, Unsworth, Besties, St Mary's, Sedgley all have 3 Labour councillors each. Radcliffe West, Radcliffe East, and Radcliffe North, 8 Radcliffe First councillors between them, but 1 Conservative in Radcliffe North. Bury West have 3 Conservative councillors. Holyrood, 2 Labour, 1 Liberal Democrat. I have a feeling I've missed somebody out, but I do apologise if that's the case. But that is how things stand as it stands at the moment. Betty's, of course, 3 Labour councillors. Right. So that's as it stands at the moment before any results are counted. Of course, in realistic terms, that is not as it stands at the moment, because voting has taken place. We're waiting to find out what those results are. So let's just have a look. My prediction, when you put all of that together, my prediction as to how it's going to be, the prediction which I said last night, is that Labour will hold the council, but with an increased majority. They will have 13, a majority of 13. So that means then that Labour will increase their number of seats to 32. But because the Conservatives are expected to lose so many seats, it means then, and Radcliffe First will gain that extra seat in the all-important Radcliffe North and Ainsworth to have 9 seats. It means then that Radcliffe First will be the opposition party in Derry, the official opposition party. That means then that the Conservatives will have 7 councillors. 7 councillors. Don't forget, a year ago, I was taking a slight change where it will be no overall control and a potential deal between the Conservatives, Radcliffe First, the Liberal Democrats, and others. Now it's turned around completely based on last year's results, but also on the way in which things have moved with the force of the independents as well, because it doesn't just stop there. So therefore, independents, I am predicting that obviously Yvonne Wright is already there, and there'll also be another win in Tottington as well, and that will be from the other independent. I'm sorry if names are getting very shortly. Very shortly here. There's so many different things. Wendy Waddington will get that extra seat as an independent in Tottington. Now, I'm predicting that Elton, that other seat, will go to Labour. Steve Wright will hold on to Holyrood as a Liberal Democrat, but the only Liberal Democrat councillor in Derry who will hold on with a weight-fifth majority, but the Liberal Democrats will still have a presence in Derry. So that is how I'm looking at the balance of power and everything as it all stands. Now, some of that is subject to change. If I predicted that absolutely correctly, then it will be an achievement in my scenario from other ones which have also accurately predicted. But it might not be as cut and dry as what I just said there, but even if it is like that, it might not be completely cut and dry, because there are independents who are standing in Betty's and in Pilkington Park. There's also another one standing in Elton as well. And those independents could bring changes to those potential results. I don't think it will change it in terms of the actual overall result, but it could certainly mean that the majority that Labour will get in those seats could be very, very small. I think Martin West, who's an independent candidate in Betty's, who has interviewed along with his agent Marcus Ackley on Monday, I think he will get the majority in Betty's. Not necessarily winning, but certainly giving Labour a run for their money in Betty's. That means then that if he's not successful today and decides to stand again next year, which he did think he would be when we were talking the other day, but he also think he could win, then it could be a shoe-in. There is also the possibility, because I've seen various different things which he's been doing as well, there is also the possibility that he could win in Betty's Wars. So it means then that majority would go down from the 13 which I'm currently predicting. But I'm not going to change what I'm actually thinking as it stands at the moment. We can make changes as results come in. But there's also another interesting factor as well, which I just want to mention. I'm not predicting any change as far as Sedgley is concerned. There was a Conservative win in 2016, essentially, when it was prior to that, it was 3 Labour councillors. I'm not predicting a change in Sedgley, but what I am going to be watching out for is the share of the vote for Labour, to see if that still is rock solid, or if it does in any way, shape or form go down. Last year, Sedgley was the first result that was declared in Derry, and I said, right, that's gone exactly as I anticipated to go. But let's just see how that actually comes out. actually happens there, because if that is a large win for Debbie Quinn, the current Labour councillor who's up for re-election, then I would say that that will still show them for a large win for St Mary's. It could put some doubt for Steve Rice and Holyrood, but it could also still mean the results as far as Prestwich are concerned are still the same. But it could have an effect as far as Pilgrim's Park is concerned. It could shoe in Michael Rubinstein, who I'm tipping to win in Pilgrim's Park for Labour. So there's all kinds of various different things to think about. If that is a very small win for Labour in Sedgley, then it could mean then that Michael Fanshawe Thorpe could be vulnerable in St Mary's, just going off that possible result. But it could also mean then if it is an increased majority as far as Steve is concerned for the Liberal Democrats in Holyrood. Just going off the way that things can move around, it may not make any difference at all whatsoever to how the results are in the other two Prestwich seats. But over recent years, traditionally Holyrood initially was Conservative, but then it was a Liberal Democrat stronghold for many, many years, until somebody who no longer stands in local elections decided to try and change that, and then things have been a bit different, but then went back to Liberal Democrat, and then last year went with 2 Labour and 1 Liberal Democrat. So Prestwich is very, very interesting, because at one stage there were 9 Liberal Democrat councillors in Prestwich. That's what happened after the 2008 general election, and then Labour started getting some of those seats back and started winning awards when they had not won on big scale before. Labour has been councillor in Holyrood before, but not in the scale that it has been since 2011. So we'll see exactly how all that plans out. Everything is all to go for with these results. I do believe that with the success of the campaign that Wendy Warrington has been doing, and also with the help of Yvonne Wright, that she will win in Tottington without any shadow of a doubt whatsoever. And North Manor, the Conservative stronghold, that is going to go Labour today as well, the way things are looking. Now that could also then mean that Bury West, another Conservative stronghold, could also go Labour, but I'm still calling that for the Conservatives as it stands at the moment. It's still early days. The counting was opening at 9 a.m. this morning. This is why I've come on early rather than coming on at 11 o'clock, which is what my initial plan was to do. I want to make sure I'm seeing exactly what's going on. Different people will be keeping me updated, as well as me seeing what's going on by following the live stream. So I will be here right through until the final results are declared in Bury, but also watching what's happening, because also Oldham are going to be counting today, all out elections. Don't forget, as I said last night, the leader of the Labour Party, who's been the leader of Oldham Council, they lost in 2021, and again last year the Labour leader, also the Labour Council, was also knocked out as well. But albeit in our on-out elections, then unfortunately for the current Labour Labour leader, then there is no, if he's Stephen Romilly, then there is no something about it. They got to stand because it's all-out elections, but I don't think their chances are looking very, very good based on past experience, and also based on the political climate for Labour as far as all is concerned, but we'll wait and see. Okay. Also, as I mentioned last night as well, it's only England where the local elections are taking place. Initially, I thought it was England and Wales, but it's only England, so there are no elections at all in Scotland, which I think that the Scottish National Party will be breathing a sigh of relief that they're not having to go to the polls, because if that was the case, then I think they would be having just as much of a bad election result of what the Conservatives are as it stands at the moment. But don't forget something else as well. This is a wake-up call. It's a wake-up call to the Conservative Party. It's a wake-up call to Labour, because we do know that independents are doing extremely well, not just in Bury, but in all kinds of different parts of the country as well. So let's just see how things pan out, because general election could be in a year's time. It could be 18 months away, and it's a time for politicians in these main parties shaping the way in which they do things in terms of engaging with the public in that sense on a national level, rather than looking at old systems and potentially new ones. This is what people are saying, and to try and see how things can go further, to try and see if they can win over more support. So I will be back again very, very shortly. I'm going to grab a bite to eat, but please stay with me. And remember, the force is in the community, and the people have spoken, and let's wait and see exactly what they have said and how they will be heard. A very good morning